Yeah, and I think a lot
Yeah.
of people don't realize how much work being a mod actually is. Like, and I can only speak for, my channel and how much like it actually entails to be a moderator. And that's why it's like such a process to become a mod on my channel. I want to hear from Johnny and Wes, like, how do you guys like, I guess, like, what things surprise you about being a mod when you became one?
Yeah, I know for me, like I mentioned, I started just to try and handle one situation, and then it kind of grew from there. And as it's grown, I've learned a lot more that it's not just about banning trolls. It kind of hinted at some of the community management type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even just being friends with your fellow mods and the streamer, it's very different than just being there to, click some buttons and chat, and that's all you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the coming onto a mod team, I mean, it's a very different experience everywhere you go. There are some places that just threw me a sword while they were offline, and I came back and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm a mod now. I guess you trust me with stuff. And then there are places like Locos where, like I filled out an application and then I got interviewed and then there was an onboarding process. And that was really surprising, but also like comforting in a way. Like I definitely preferred having some kind of structure. And I would always recommend that you set up some type of onboarding or orientation, or even just like a 2-page like welcome to modding for WesCisa. Because
With that specific wording.
Yes. Because setting those expectations is a big thing, and a lot of places have very different requirements and very different expectations.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I mean, it was very surprising at first to see how much went into modding for Loco, but then at the same time, it was really comforting, and I was glad to have that there. Like, I wouldn't want to go into a channel as big as hers with things like giveaways and we have a more family friendly rules than most places. So I wouldn't want to go into a chat like Locos without that type of orientation. So it was a big surprise, but it was it's definitely needed, and more so the bigger you are or the more family friendly you are.
Yeah, the more like intricate kind of to what you're saying. And it's interesting because, Johnny mentioned like it's more than just banning people, but even banning people can be very nuanced because
exactly
you'll find situations that are gray areas. And, when do you time out or purge, for a day, an hour, a week permanently? Like, where are those lines? Like, when did they get crossed? Like, I feel like documentation is the only way that structure gets passed on as you add new mods, because you're going to have turnover. Mods will always come in and out of your stream life. So it's so important to just have those situations and those specificities, detailed in a living document.
And because it can vary from stream to stream and culture to culture with that. There are some where the exact same type of behavior is banned no matter what. There are others where if somebody's new and unrecognized to the community, something can feel just off about a certain comment, where the exact same comment made by somebody who's been there for 4 years can be taken entirely differently. And that's gonna be a more encultured kind of a thing, where if you were a viewer for a long time and then became a mod, you can recognize that nuance, and it's not necessarily going to be something detailed in a document, but you need that documentation. I think it's valuable. Not necessarily need per se, but I think it's valuable to have it as an anchor for all of those qualities and attributes, and something that can really be that guiding force that everybody can constantly reference, instead of having to ask all the time, ask the streamer, like, if that's all right, or ask the other mods, which is great to do when needed, but the documentation is valuable.